Chapter 1. The doctor gave him a simple plan to save his life. He decided to start on Monday. The words were not spoken with defiance, but with the calm, organized certainty of a man who managed complex software projects for a living. David's entire world was built on timelines, launch dates, and fresh starts. What was a health directive but another project? Project, life extension. Start date, next Monday. He shook the doctor's hand, took the neatly printed sheet of paper, and walked out into the afternoon sun, feeling not fear, but a strange sense of administrative relief. The problem had been identified, a solution proposed. The rest was just implementation. Have you ever heard that voice in your head? The one that sounds so reasonable, so logical. It does not scream, no. It whispers later. David's inner voice was not a lazy slob, it was a cunning project manager. It told him that starting now, on a Thursday, was inefficient. The weekend was coming up, with a planned barbecue. It would be foolish to start a new diet just before a feast. A proper start required a clean slate. A Monday. His wife, Sarah, saw the paper on the kitchen counter. Walk 30 minutes a day. No more soda. Her eyes were wide with a hope that pained him. That's it. That's all you have to do. He nodded, already opening his laptop. That's it. I'll start on Monday. Get everything in order first. She paused, her hope dimming slightly. Why not, tonight? We could take a walk together. Right now. There it was. The choice. Not the grand, life or death decision in a sterile office, but a small, quiet one on a Thursday evening. It was a choice between the immediate, uncomfortable effort and the comforting, abstract promise of later. The project manager in his head spoke up. An impromptu start is a failed start. We need the right gear. Proper shoes. A plan. He looked at his wife and smiled a reassuring lie. Let's do it right. I'll buy new running shoes this weekend. We'll start fresh on Monday. I promise. The weekend was a masterpiece of proactive procrastination. He spent 4 hours at the sports store, comparing gel cushioning and arch support. He bought the most expensive, brightly colored shoes he could find. They sat in their box by the front door, a monument to his good intentions. On Sunday night, as he drank his last ever soda, a final, ceremonial farewell, he felt a surge of pride. The plan was perfect. He was ready. But as he went to bed, his phone buzzed. It was a calendar alert from his boss. Emergency meeting, Project Phoenix. 7 a.m. Monday. He stared at the screen, a cold knot tightening in his stomach. The perfect Monday was already broken. Chapter 2. We all know what happens to a broken Monday. It becomes an excuse for a broken week. The 7 a.m. meeting bled into a frantic day of debugging. There was no time for a walk. It's not my fault, the voice reasoned, the universe conspired against me. He'd start on Tuesday. But Tuesday morning, he woke up sore from the stress of Monday. Wednesday, it rained. Each day, the perfect, expensive shoes by the door seemed to mock him. They were no longer a symbol of a new beginning, but a neon orange tombstone for a life he had not started living yet. The failure was not loud. It was a quiet, creeping decay. He started taking the stairs at work, telling himself it counted. He'd switched to diet soda for a day, a tiny negotiation with his own mortality. But the walks never happened. The cycle of self-deceit spun faster, a dizzying spiral into inertia. He began to resent Sarah's hopeful glances at the shoes, her gentle questions about how he was feeling. Each inquiry felt like an accusation. His home, once a sanctuary, was becoming a courtroom where he was both the defendant and the prosecutor. The breaking point came at his son's 8th birthday party. The kids were playing soccer in the backyard. His son, Leo, kicked the ball toward him. "Come on, Dad, play with us." David jogged a few steps, his chest immediately on fire, his lungs screaming for air. He took one clumsy kick and stumbled, gasping, leaning against a tree while the world swam in black spots. The look on Leo's face was not just disappointment. It was a flicker of fear. The fear of a child seeing his hero crumble. In that moment, David felt a wave of self-loathing so powerful it almost brought him to his knees. That night, he saw a calendar reminder on his phone for his 3-month follow-up with the doctor. With a trembling finger, he called the office first thing in the morning and canceled it, his voice sounding hollow and distant as he lied, "Everything's fine, I'm feeling much better. I'll reschedule soon." He had officially chosen the comfort of the lie over the possibility of the truth. Chapter 3: The wake-up call you ignore does not just go away. It finds a louder way to get your attention. A month later, at the office, the sound was not an alarm clock, but a collective gasp followed by a sickening thud. Paramedics were rushing past his cubicle, their faces grim. They were surrounding the desk of Mark, the guy from accounting. Mark was the same age as David, had the same tired look, and often joked about his coffee and donut diet. They wheeled him out on a stretcher, his face a ghastly shade of gray. A massive heart attack. He was dead before he reached the hospital. The shock was electric. It bypassed every rationalization David had ever built. This was not a doctor's warning, this was a ghost story, and he was looking at his own future. That evening, he did not wait. He tore open the shoebox, laced up the bright orange shoes, and burst out the door. He did not walk, he ran. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs were jelly, a frantic, desperate sprint away from the ghost in the office. He collapsed on his lawn an hour later, drenched in sweat, but feeling a euphoric sense of victory. He had done it. He had finally broken the curse. But the voice in our heads, the one born of years of habit, is a patient predator. The next day, every muscle in David's body screamed in protest. He was a hero, a changed man. And what do heroes deserve? A reward. As he limped to the kitchen, the voice returned, no longer a project manager, but a soothing friend. "You were amazing yesterday. You shocked the system. Now you need to recover. Do not push too hard and get injured. Take a rest day. You've earned it." It was the most dangerous lie of all, because it was wrapped in the language of self-care. He had found the ultimate loophole, using his one moment of success as the perfect justification to return to his old ways. The victory was not the beginning of a new life, it was the final, perfect excuse he needed to stop trying altogether. He was back at square one, only now he was convinced he had already won the race. Chapter 4: He hit bottom in the parking lot of a fast food restaurant on a rainy Tuesday, 2 weeks later. He was hiding. Hiding from his wife, his son, and the ghost of Mark. He had just finished a double cheeseburger and was crumpling the greasy wrapper into a ball to hide at the bottom of the trash can at home. This was his life now, a series of small, pathetic deceptions. He leaned his head against the steering wheel, the smell of stale fries filling his car. This was it. This was the pathetic end. Then, something caught his eye. The receipt on the passenger seat. He picked it up, his gaze falling on the date. It was October 24th. A Monday. In that greasy, quiet car, the truth hit him. It was not a lightning bolt of inspiration, it was a cold, slow flood of shame. He had been waiting for Monday. A magic day. A clean slate. But every week had a Monday. He had been given 52 of them a year, and he had squandered every single one, waiting for a perfect one that would never arrive. The lie was not, "I'll start Monday." The lie was Monday. The belief that a day on the calendar held more power than the decision he could make in any given second. Monday was the disease, not the cure. He did not make a grand pronouncement. He did not call his wife. The voice in his head started to whisper, "Okay, this is it. The real rock bottom. Tomorrow, we start for real." "No," David said out loud, his voice raspy in the silent car. He opened the door, got out, and dropped the greasy wrapper into a public trash can. He left his car in the lot. And he started to walk. It was not a power walk. It was not a run. It was just one foot in front of the other, through the drizzle, on the 2-mile journey home. It was uncomfortable. It was slow. It was real. When he finally walked up his driveway an hour later, soaked and tired, Sarah opened the door. She saw his wet clothes, his exhausted face, and the empty space in the driveway where his car should have been. She looked at him, and for the first time in months, she did not ask a single question. She just opened the door wider and let him in. He had not been saved by a plan or a promise. He was saved in the moment he realized the only thing more dangerous than a doctor's warning was the comfort of a calendar.